When you think of membrane keyboards, you think this or this that typically comes free with a computer. But what if I told you there was a premium option that costs hundreds of dollars? Would you still be interested? In the world of mechanical keyboards, a $600 keyboard isn't out of the ordinary. In fact, Tifu's keyboard costs over $3,000. Heck, even a set of aftermarket keycaps can cost $300 alone. But this keyboard here isn't mechanical. In fact, it's membrane. How on earth can a membrane keyboard be so expensive? Now, to find out if this keyboard is worth the hefty price tag, let's take a look at it. The Niz Duo 82 came in a nice gray case and was wrapped in a lot of foam. And by a lot, I mean there was a lot of material here. Now, this is a prototype model, so I'm not sure if you buy this, you will get a carrying case like I did. But if you do, it's pretty cool. There's just something about their keyboards and these specific switches that just feels so nice to type on. The keyboard came pre-assembled, which can be a good thing, but for me personally, it was inconvenient because now I have to take it apart anyways. And at a first glance, the keyboard, it's thick, it's heavy, it feels custom and quality. It's got nice spacing between everything, yellow accents, but man, this thing is a brick. After watching other people's videos on this keyboard, I noticed mine was the only one that came without keycaps. But that's okay, Niz, I forgive you, because we have plans to put on a really cool keycap set later on anyways. It's a secret, you'll see. Even if you don't plan on buying this keyboard or ever spending this kind of money on a keyboard, it might be fun to see why custom keyboards even cost so much. Alright, it's time to take this keyboard apart. Let me just say, this is literally the most complicated keyboard case that I've ever used. Most of the time, the case is just a single piece or even two pieces just slammed together. But this keyboard comes with like 5 different parts for the case alone. You can see the amount of details and complexity that they really put into this case shape, and to get this two-tone colorway, this gray and yellow going on here. So I ended up taking most of the keyboard apart, but there were so many different sets of screws that were all different that I left some of the smaller pieces still inside the board, but you can see that you can take everything apart, and I just didn't want to mix it all up. Now, this keyboard is inspired by a new game console called the Niz Duo, and I've never heard of it before, but it's a game console that can play retro game cartridges and discs, so that's pretty cool. So overall, this is a sleek brick. This is the best looking brick you've ever seen. Niz has actually made over 20 prototypes, but they had to scrap them all based on community feedback. And these prototypes definitely aren't cheap, but Niz put their community's interests above their own. Now, with most keyboards you buy, you go to the store, you buy it, you pay for it, and that's it. You don't really get to vote or have any say on the next iteration of the product. Now, I will say, at first I thought they sent me the wrong color. I did ask for white, and they said it would be white, but instead we've got a gray color instead. And apparently there is no gray option, so this is the white. And it's not color accurate. When you pay this much money for something so expensive, you want the colors to be accurate. Now, I'm not saying it looks bad, it's just not white, that's all. They use a coating method that is scratch proof and oxidation proof, so this keyboard case is going to last a really long time. The yellow accents are a nice touch too. It makes the design look better and the colors pop more. It's better than just a boring gray keyboard. Now it's a gray and yellow keyboard. The mounting style is top mount, and what that means is the plate is screwed to the top rather than to the bottom case like a tray. It gives you a more consistent feel throughout the keyboard. Now, most keyboards are tray mount and may be inconsistent throughout or have uneven stiffness, but this one is uniform, and that makes it a great typing experience. The shape makes it really easy to pick pick up. Now this isn't a problem that you usually encounter, but this keyboard is so heavy that if it didn't have a way for you to slide your fingers underneath and just pick up the board, you would have no idea how to pick it up. On the back, there are really tall feet, really nice rubber bump-ons, and there is a acrylic piece on the back. Not sure what it's for, but hey, it has a cool design. The USB-C port is center mounted in the middle, very nice. And on the side, there is a small little hole in case you have the Bluetooth version of the board. The plate is a color-coded brass, which I've never seen before, and I think it's super cool that they coated it. Usually brass will tarnish over time, but with this coat, its lifespan is going to last a lot longer. I would have definitely preferred aluminum, because the typing experience is a little bit more flexible than brass, but hey, I don't hate it. The PCB comes with a membrane layer on top of springs, and these are electrocapacitive switches. So next we definitely want to lube the switches, and this is different from a mechanical keyboard because you don't need to solder or desolder anything. All you do is pop out the stems, get your Krytox 205G0, lube the housings, and that's pretty much it. And compared to a normal membrane keyboard, there's really just no comparison. This keyboard is a lot more complex and higher quality than something you're going to get for free with your computer. These stabilizers are different than any that I've ever seen. It's a combination between a regular plate mounted stabilizer and like an optical stabilizer. And I found that applying a bit of Krytox 205G0 on the stabilizer bar and housing helped to reduce the rattle a lot. I also injected a bit of extra dielectric grease with a syringe, but there's plenty of lube there already from the factory, and the stabilizers sounded great. The final step is to put everything back together and put on the keycaps, which we've all been waiting for. For this build, I picked up two separate sets, the Enjoy PBT white on black and the Artifact Bloom black on white. So first, I put on the black keycaps and then filled in the rest with white keycaps for a beautiful mix of colors, and it actually turned out looking pretty amazing with a balance of colors between the black and white keycaps and the gray and yellow on the case. And the final price tag, the kit itself, was $350. The PCB you had to harvest from an original Niz 82 keyboard, and that is $135. The keycaps were a combination of two different sets, and they added to be a total of $110, and altogether, the total cost of this keyboard is $595. And let me just say, I don't think you need an expensive custom keyboard that costs a butt ton. I think there are plenty of affordable options out there, and you can always upgrade your current keyboard to make it better. But a $600 keyboard can be worth it for those that enjoy the super unique feel of a keyboard and have a bit of extra spending money on hand. For the average person though, it just doesn't make sense.